Good afternoon, friends and fellow travelers. It's Brandon, and today we are visiting Straight Lake State Park up here in Luck, Wisconsin. I'm by myself today, so that's unusual. So a solo adventure. Ash is at work. I left Winnie at home after the tick infestation that he had. So this week we're gonna explore the state park on our own. Let's take a look at the map. Alright, gonna head this way today. It is the Rainbow Lake Trail. There's a shelter up here. Never been to this state park. It is about an hour from our home, but nothing like a solo adventure. I think truly it has been at least 6 months since I've walked the trail totally alone. Actually, I want to walk over here and see the shelter now that I am looking at the shelter. And give you all a better idea of what we have here. Oh, wow, it's an interesting tree. Let's walk back over here and see what we have. Just want to see if there's a view of the lake or the river from this shelter. Only 2 other cars here today. One gentleman who is right behind me on the trail, and then another vehicle, which I assume those folks are already ahead on the trail. It's about midday. It's supposed to get to the upper 70s here in Luck today, but at home 81 actually. So warm for Wisconsin. So it's a cool little shelter where you can eat, have a picnic, back down to the road over there. Now it is difficult to understand if we are looking at the straight lake or the straight river. But there's your first view of the day. Now the Ice Age National Scenic Trail also runs right parallel to this park. So you have a couple options for recreation here. Of course, like any, it is a Wisconsin state park, so it is fee regulated. $13 a day for Wisconsin license plates, $16 for non-local license plates. Or you can do what we do and get the annual pass, which is $28 for the year. And that works out pretty well as it pays for itself very quickly, of course. I do now see the other folks that are out here. There's 2 other cars. They're coming back from the lake, it looks like. So there are several lakes here. Rainbow Lake is where we are going to go next on the Rainbow Lake Trail. Now the Ice Age National Scenic Trail is just due north of the Rainbow Lake, so we'll probably run into that also today. Nice peaceful day. I hope you all have had a great weekend. As you all have noticed, we've kind of switched our video production to putting a short out on Saturday and then the actual feature video for the week on Monday. And I find that with the kids' schedule and our schedule, that works better. So let me know what you think about our scheduling. If you like that, let us know. If you don't, let us know. But right now we're sticking with the Saturday and Monday theme. A nice uphill to start the trail. I'm recording this on Sunday, so you guys probably won't see this for a few weeks. I'm kind of backlogging my videos here with the baby coming shortly, trying to get ahead for you guys. It's a beautiful woods. As always, this year especially, you want to be tick aware. Wear bug spray, longer clothing if you can, because the ticks are awful. Very bad this year. And as I can attest to you, Winston had 80 of them. So keep your furry ones close by in the middle of the trail if you take them to a location like this. Here's another sign. So you have Straight Lake. Straight River is along the Ice Age Trail that I was talking about. And of course you have the Straight Lake State Wildlife Area too. So you have a few options here for recreation. We're going to continue on this way. A couple parking lots. We're in the lower lot, it seems like. There are beautiful valleys rolling through this park, at least so far. Some water that way. Some uphill again, and then this state park is about 2,000 acres, 2,300 or so. And it's near Luck, Wisconsin, as I mentioned earlier. So up in Polk County, a more rural area that you start heading north. Interesting view over there. Some little valleys along. Interesting. Back on the trail, we have a stark uphill right here. Was stopping to take some pictures, and this is a good time for me to talk about the Instagram page. My friends, if you don't follow us over there, Instagram, we share a lot of pictures that you don't see on YouTube or TikTok. So I am very passionate about photography on the side of travel vlogging for you. So if you're interested in the more photogenic side of our adventures, follow us over on Instagram too. I'll put that in the bio, the description below. You can kind of see the lake poking through. And I really can't tell you how nice it truly is to have the annual state park pass for Wisconsin, because an example of this park where there is no true entrance station, like the more frequently visited parks like Willow River, you have the sticker. So assuming that a park ranger comes by and is checking vehicles, which I'm sure is probably not that likely at this park, you have the sticker and you're good for the year. In a park like this that you probably don't have very good reception, you're getting to the park and then having to use a QR code that's on their sign to try and pay for your park pass. And that can be tedious if you don't have very good reception. So, in my opinion, either order ahead on the website, or, you know, the annual pass is going to pay for itself in essentially two parks. It's $28 for Wisconsin residents. It's $13 for a daily pass. So you're almost paying for that yearly pass in two visits, two daily park visits. So even if you don't go as frequently as Ash and I, it's still a worthwhile investment, I would definitely say. Continuing on through the beautiful woods of Straight Lake State Park, looking down into another flat or valley. Up here we have a division in the trail. And let's see where we are. Over here, the Glacial Trail. We're going to continue and make a left and go around Rainbow Lake. And then maybe take some of that Ice Age State Trail. Ice Age National Scenic Trail, my apologies. I want to see this waterway. Very peaceful day. That's quite an occlusion. There's the hiking sign that some of the trees are marked with. In contrast to blazes that are often put on the trail, they have little pictures of a hiker on the trees. Water's through there. Perhaps Rainbow Lake, perhaps not. I want to get to Straight Lake too, that's the bigger one. So we'll see where the trail takes us today to find our peace. Hope you all had a great weekend. Ours was kind of interesting. Ash and I actually found ourselves at a wedding for one of her good friends and a co-worker of hers. So that was interesting. It was an all-day event. You know, as we're kind of planning our wedding out, we kind of start to see things we do and do not want involved in our wedding. So that was, it was a big display. You know, the ceremony and then a cocktail hour, dinner, a dance. So yeah, there are a lot of aspects of that we like. But who knows? We will see as we continue to plan our big day out. And prepare for that. So I haven't seen a blaze yet today, but here is a yellow blaze. We'll see what the sign says. This trail is maintained entirely by volunteers. Ice Age Park and Trail Foundation. So we made it to the Ice Age Trail. That's the yellow blaze. So you either continue on Rainbow Lake or you take the Ice Age Trail. We're going to go around Rainbow Lake and then probably take the Ice Age Trail around, is my thought. Because at the end of the day, Rainbow Lake and Straight Lake can both be seen, and then the Ice Age Trail can also be seen. So we'll see what we have. Again, that's a National Scenic Trail that goes, I will find that out for you because I am not entirely sure. So I am guessing that's Rainbow Lake right there. My thoughts. There's water on both sides through the forest, on our right and our left, although the view is largely obstructed. Seeing a few of those beautiful purple flowers Ash likes along the route that we're taking. I flicked one tick off of me already in the short time that we've been on the trail. There's an example of the little hiker on the tree to give you an idea that you are on the trail, but not the Ice Age Scenic Trail, as that one is blazed in yellow. Peaceful walk. It's very active. You have tons of bird calls. You have the stray sound of a woodpecker doing their duty to nature. Squirrels running across the trail here and there. Beautiful butterflies also. I've seen a few. Interesting. Better perspective, possibly. Continuing on. It's like a beautiful little lake. I had friends, I had a couple other options for today, and I want to talk about those. So that wedding yesterday was down in Pepin, Wisconsin. So that's down close to bluff country that we've shared with you, with Winona, and that Sugarloaf Bluff that we hiked to the top of in the snow, if you remember those days. If not, check out the Winona video. That was quite the adventure. But in the long grand scheme of things, I thought about possibly going east to Brunette Island State Park, which is over in Chippewa County, the Lake Hallie area. There's a better view of the lake. I think now we're going to come to a section where we can better view it. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, that Brunette Island is in Cornell. So Cornell, Wisconsin. Nice little rock here. You can stop and gather your thoughts. And the scenery. Very beautiful. We'll continue on, of course, and capture a couple photos here. And I'll be back with you. Here is a greater view of Rainbow Lake. The trail flowing right down here. So right across from us is a little dock. So the parking lot, if I actually take a few steps to my left here, I can see the car sitting there. So essentially, if I would have walked left out of the parking lot and just followed that dirt trail down, I would have walked right into Rainbow Lake. So that's pretty cool. However, we're here to see Straight Lake. This is a nice concession. But Straight Lake is the name of the park. I'd like to see Straight Lake, and I would love to see the Straight River. So we're going to continue on. A beautiful day, though. It has... I was taking those photos, and I checked 72 degrees today, right now. You can't even make it up. That's just beautiful. You know, and it's really hazy, notably. And I'd like to share with you, there's a couple possibilities for that. The haziness, there are some wildfires burning it up in Canada right now. They are saying that a lot of that haze that we're seeing can be contributed to that, but also the lesser known of the two. So typically in the summer months every year, the Sahara Desert it gets really windy over there, and a lot of the sand from the Sahara Desert actually gets blown across the Atlantic to us in the United States. This affects a large area of the United States, truly. So not only could it contribute to a little bit of haze, but I was also reading in a post that it can contribute to a rise in allergy symptoms. So I had no idea this was the case. But yeah, Saharan dust from the desert. Apparently it's quite bad this year. So I would have never known that. It was an interesting article that I actually saw on the news and then looked into it further. So I was quite surprised to learn that. So the Rainbow Lake Trail nonetheless pretty much comes to an end here for us because it wraps back around to that parking lot. It's not a long loop. Now the maps here are not very descriptive. They don't have the trail lengths on them. So the big map that comes in the park map, I did not see trail lengths. Maybe it's on the next page. Maybe I didn't look thoroughly enough. That's also a possibility. So now, friends, we're taking the Ice Age National Scenic Trail. I've been looking forward to this moment. So technically we are at an NPS site now. That runs right through the Wisconsin State Park. In this area, though, this Ice Age Scenic Trail, National Scenic Trail, is actually maintained by volunteers. And on one of the signs, there's a number to where you can volunteer. So that's pretty interesting information that I wouldn't have known. So this that you can start to see through the tree line is going to be Straight Lake. Much larger. Much larger than Rainbow Lake that we just walked past. Rainbow Lake was pretty. It was serene. It was peaceful in its own way. But my thought is, this is not going to compare to Straight Lake as far as size. Now there's a boat launch here also. There's a campground further up. So you can stay at Straight Lake State Park if you choose to. It's an interesting fact. I think it's been a very peaceful day so far. We have another sign up here. Curious to see what the illustration is on that. Straight Lake is really popping up to our left now. I probably can't capture the view that I'm getting from it, but I'm sure as we get closer. Open to hiking and other foot traffic only on the Ice Age National Scenic Trail here. So we approach Straight Lake here on the National Scenic Trail. I hear some wildlife through the trees, and I also hear water. I wonder why. Right there, a little tributary to this lake. Flood stage, maybe, floodplain. We're coming up to a really beautiful area, it looks like. Here's our first view. Looks like we're gonna have to walk across some rocks. It's another kind of a trail of some kind that goes up there. Something rustling around in the bushes. And now right up here is the picture you see on the park website.
To the river
Over to the left, I'm going to see in just a second. I'll share it with you. Right here, zoomed in quite a bit more than the GoPro can do, is that view of the little island that's out there, straight ahead of us. And this, my friends, is actually Straight Lake. We're right between two huge trees right here. And there's some kind of water flowing right up here. And you actually walk across the rocks. There's some kind of a little stream flowing. And the grass, and right out to Straight Lake. Across the rocks. There's actually a snail in there. Clear as day. It's beautiful. On this National Scenic Trail now. The water flowing into the tributary of Straight Lake. Can't even make it up. My friends, thank you for joining me today here. Again, Wisconsin, sharing its vast natural beauty and diversity with us. Something calls out from the foliage there in the creek, or the swamp rather, the marshland. Something signaling to let perhaps others know that I'm in the area. Who knows? Another look from this perspective of Straight Lake, back towards the rocks. If you know what's calling out over there in the woods, let me know, friends. I have no clue what that sound is. It's a pretty day, though. Watching the water flow over the rocks from the other side. Friends, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for all the support over here on YouTube, liking, subscribing, commenting on our videos, on Instagram, following and liking our photos. We appreciate it all. On TikTok, we need to post more over there. Maybe some of our shorts that we put on YouTube will add over there also. But we appreciate the immense support that you all give us, and we're on this road to 1,000 subscribers now. I never thought that it would get to this point, so thank you all for that. As we are working on this next amazing milestone together. We appreciate all of you, and thank you for following us on our adventures. This is just the beginning for us. We have many things planned. We go on adventures weekly for you, so your support is widely appreciated. Continuing along the Ice Age National Scenic Trail now, along Straight Lake. Now this trail goes all the way along this lake and to the northwestern park boundary. So we'll see what this entails. There's an interpretive sign up here. Thinking about possibly Burnett Island here. I don't know, maybe next weekend. Look up and down. Old growth forest, Lake Tunnel Channel Woods State Natural Area. Support rare plants and animals. So there you go. Continues along the Ice Age Trail up to the Straight River, Straight Lake State Wildlife Area. So plenty of opportunities for recreation outdoors in this area. A beautiful day. I didn't know really what to expect from this state park, and I knew that the Ice Age National Scenic Trail was nearby. Did I know that it was running through the state park? Nope, I didn't. There's a better view of the island. Small island out there in the middle of Straight Lake. It is straight. No wonder why it has the name christened to it. Lots of spider webs. Tons of spider webs I'm walking into, so that's fun. But anyways, Burnett Island over in Cornell. That's a little town I wanted to check out anyway, and it has that state park, but it's also close to that Old Abe State Trail that I wanted to also approach and maybe take as well from the state trails that we've been hiking on. Very lush forest in this section. Seems like I have a bee following me along down the trail. Must not be a very frequented area with all the webs across the trail. Looking off to the right, up towards the state natural area. Lush forest here at the beginning of June on a 70-degree day. I imagine it's a very beautiful area up here by the Straight River. And there's another river up there that I just looked at, but I can't even think of the name of it at this point. As we continue along, getting loaded with spider webs. Nothing wrong with that. Part of enjoying the trail atmosphere. Not having fun if you don't gotta kick something off of you every once in a while. Really a spectacular trail this is turning out to be. Of course, you can never go wrong with the National Scenic Trails. I'd love to do some of that Lewis and Clark National Scenic Trail. Really would love to see some of the history of that area, of course, but also just to get on some of that trail would be so historic. Very into the history of that era, so yeah. Another yellow blaze. There's that sign about volunteers. If you're interested in volunteering. I am sure that the individual that was ahead of us on the trail today probably did not go off into this section, would be my guess. But you never know. Straight Lake again. As we walk north. Oh, that's kind of a crazy tangled up tree, or multiple trees. So my friends, some information for you regarding the Ice Age National Scenic Trail. The trail is about 1,200 miles in entirety. Oh, look at those trees up there. And it only is in Wisconsin. About 700 miles of it are done. They are finishing it. But it is entirely located in our home state of Wisconsin. 1,200 miles. I had to look that up. I was curious. And I also thought that it expanded into Minnesota, but I am entirely wrong. So this trail, 1,200 miles, and it just crosses one state. Can you imagine? And it's supposed to showcase some of the most amazing landscapes and glacial features, as the website says, of our great state, the Badger State. So I would be definitely interested to hike other segments of this. So we'll see. You never know what the adventure brings for us. It's very narrow through that little area of the forest there. But those towering pine trees above us, beautiful. So we continue to move along Straight Lake. The island is now in great focus for us. Wonder if anybody goes over there and stops. What do you guys think? Anybody been to the state park before? Anybody stopped here? I'm really curious to know. So, looking across. Huge, huge trees. There's actually a bench here to stop at. National Scenic Trail. And you can look out. Not the greatest view, but it's still pretty. These towering pines above us. I would love to see exactly where we are, so I'm hoping there's a map upcoming. My question is, that I need to do a little bit more research into, is considering this is a volunteer maintained trail for the NPS, how frequently is the maintenance conducted on this? And does the maintenance suffer because of that? Would it be more beneficial to have the NPS staffing it? I'm not sure. I think this is the first volunteer created trail that I have walked in this area. So it leaves me many questions about the maintaining and keeping this trail up. Is it more difficult because it's volunteers? Many questions I have walking along this scenic trail. Some white flowers, first time I'm seeing those today. The trail is mainly maintained its composition of hard packed dirt throughout the entirety, so that's nice. It's been nice to kind of get off the concrete, because it looks like we're kind of getting away from Straight Lake now. And walking back, there's even some stumps on the trail there. But I find it very interesting to know that it's a volunteer maintained trail, because it's beautifully done and it's very natural. I mean, it's a small trail. You're walking through the thickets here, and it's foot traffic only. You can't bicycle this. I wouldn't recommend it. But I have no complaints about this. Mainly flat too. There are some uphills in that, but nothing too harshly to speak of. can see the trail has brought us further away from Straight Lake, as there it is, way off in the distance. And I wonder, it looks like it's going to start meandering possibly back in that direction now. And I am trying to illustrate for you week after week, my friends, when I do Wisconsin videos. Now, it's not always Wisconsin that we share. Minnesota, Michigan, the Dakotas. We're not limited to any specific state, but I'm trying to illustrate to you Wisconsin is sometimes overlooked when it comes to the beauty of the state. And I think it is worthwhile just to get out and explore it for yourself before, you know, you listen to other people's rankings, because what you see is beautiful and what I see is beautiful, two different things. And what the people that rank these, bigger travel vloggers perhaps, nature enthusiasts, perhaps people that have never really even explored the state of Wisconsin thoroughly, it's different. Everybody's perspective, everybody's opinion is different. There's a log just right over the trail there. That's pretty cool. So get out and explore. That's my synopsis for just about everything. Find your peace. I say that a lot. But it's so necessary. What's the point if you don't? Even if it's not nature. Whether it's, you know, building an old car, rebuilding it. Restoring homes. It's just, you gotta find your peace. And nothing can be achieved without yourself. Thinking it's probably close to turning back time. I bet we're nearing the end of the state park border here, would be my guess, as this trail probably continues up towards Superior, would be my guess. Another attraction of the Luck area is Gandy Dancer State Trail, which traverses some landscape across Polk County and then ends over there on the Minnesota and Wisconsin border. So that's another area that I'd like to explore. If I had more time today, I would probably film 2 videos for you and do the Gandy Dancer State Trail also. But I'm just not fortunate enough to have the time for both of those. So we will return. My friends, we have made it away from Straight Lake. We are over close to the Straight River that is kind of going through the landscape in front of us. I brought up all trails just because I want to see kind of how far we're going. But we're going to be walking close to the Straight River now. As Straight Lake is now behind us. Unfortunately, I need to turn back in a few moments. But that's okay. You can always come back and explore again in the future. And I'll share the return trip with you also. But that is part of the Straight River there. As we traverse more of the landscape of the Ice Age Trail. I don't really see a lot, so I probably will call it up here and turn around and share the return with you. We'll go around this bend and we'll see. I did see a snake up on the trail. maybe 1/10 of a mile back. Otherwise, very quiet, very serene. Went over some marshes, some bogs, but otherwise it's been very, very peaceful. And I needed this after yesterday, which it was a huge wedding. It was like 200 people, which for an introvert like me, that's enough all day of that. So, all right, let's turn back. If you guys would like to see me do more of this Ice Age National Scenic Trail, let me know in the comments. I should use all trails for my whole entire journey through these trails. I should have. I'm going to start doing that. Because it's a more accurate gauge of how long I've actually hiked. And we are maintaining a 3-mile-an-hour pace, so I very highly doubt it's going to be 3 miles back to the parking lot from this location. But we got to start heading back. So friends, if anything crazy happens, I will let you know. I'll share it with you. But stay with us. Hard to see the straight river through the trees here so much. But I'm sure it's a beautifully natural place over there. Very narrow. I think there's a fall, like a small creek that falls back towards the other side of the park, because I was hoping we would walk into that on this National Scenic Trail, but it doesn't appear that it's this way. My guess is it's probably further southeast, as this trail spans the whole state. They have about 500 miles left to finish. And we've made it back to this scenic spot. About 1.5 miles since I started filming, or started on the all trails, tracking it. We're on our way back, my friends. Just about on that last segment of the trail. Looking out into the open field where you can hear that water still flowing. Getting close to being back to the car. Almost totally off of the Ice Age Trail at this point. So that would be going southbound on the Ice Age National Scenic Trail. That part I do also want to see someday, because it does go a little bit and match up parallel to the straight river, and some of those lower segments I'd like to check out where that falls potentially is. Lake Trail sign when we took the Ice Age Trail. There's no real designation of what the heck this trail is right here, but Straight Lake is right ahead, so I'm curious if that just takes you out to Straight Lake. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to walk back along the Rainbow Lake, and that'll be it, friends, for this journey. We're almost back. We did run into a couple others out on the trail asking me if I pulled any ticks off of myself today. Only that one from earlier on, which I have not since found any, but I'm sure when I look myself over, I'm gonna find more ticks. Just, yeah. Life, taxes, and ticks here in Wisconsin this summer. Nice little picnic area there where you can overlook Rainbow Lake. Kind of been moving this last little bit. I'm at about 3.3 miles per hour speed. So that's a little quick for me. But we'll get back here soon. There's the parking lot. More cars here than there were when I first got here around 11 this morning. A little swampy area over to our right. And interesting the way that you have to go to get to the lake. And again, it's a carry-in only boat ramp. So that's the only way you're getting down to Rainbow or Straight Lake. Or to one of the rivers if you're gonna try and fare one of those. But a great picnic area. A spot that I would highly recommend. And definitely one I was happy to be able to make it to today. For sure. I have a few extra minutes, so we'll walk down here to Rainbow Lake and say goodbye for today. Cleaning your boat is required to prevent the spread of invasive species. I saw a couple of snakes today, but unfortunately didn't get them on camera for you, so I apologize. And here we are. Rainbow Lake. There are a couple of kayakers out there. But the view from the dock, looking out, it's beautiful. Friends, we thank you so much for watching today, joining us on this journey. Gotta get a spider web off the camera. Joining me on a solo adventure and another look at a Wisconsin state park. I appreciate all of you. I hope to see you on the next adventure. For Ash, for the kiddos, for me, for Winnie. Find your peace, because without it, what do we have? I'll see you on the next one.